Let's get into it.
You want me to start, I think, right?
Sure.
Breastfeeding. It's a
Oh, we're
two-parter.
starting there. We're starting there. Okay,
That to me
let's
is mild.
go.
That's mild.
All right, let's go.
It's a two-parter of breast is best, the whole concept that breast is best, and then women who don't breastfeed are villainized, and breastfeeding in public.
I think because I have breastfed and I have given my babies
And your breasts.
and I have breasts and I have given my babies both breast milk and a formula. And I personally think males should not have any say into this. I think anyone outside of your immediate family, between you and your partner and your baby, have no real say as to what you're feeding your baby, because sometimes like the mother's mental health is drowning because she's sitting there every day, all day, trying to feed her baby. Yet her mental health is just declining rapidly, but people don't care about that. Feed your baby. No, but you have to feed your baby. But it's like, but what about me? What about my life?
Sure.
And what about your family's life? Maybe you're on like kid number 3 and you like don't have, a lot of time to sit there and just feed your baby. So I've done both. Personally with my first son, he wasn't a great eater. And if you have not breastfed a baby, it is very hard.
Right.
You just think, you just like throw the baby up to your boob and they do what they got to do. Not at all. It is so hard. So that I'm just going to share. I did a mix of breast milk and formula, but for my second baby, I've done mostly breast milk because it's just been a better experience. But I think at the end of the day, like fed is best.
Yeah.
Whatever your situation is, try to drown out that noise and those articles and what people are telling you to do. Do what's best for you and your family and your mental health and your baby. It doesn't matter. Like, just focus on what is best for you in the end.
Agree. I don't know for sure, but I don't think it's men that are villainizing women who choose not to breastfeed. I think it's other women.
I think it's both. And I also think it's like older men too, because they don't get it.
Older men, what kind of forums are they getting into that they're even voicing their opinions?
Oh, because like older men, they don't realize they're that generation that just like went to work and was like, okay, see you at dinner. I expect a 5-course dinner when I come home. Like they don't understand really anything, I think personally. But I do 100%. Other moms will judge and look down on moms being like, oh, you don't breastfeed your kid. You didn't breastfeed your kid until they were 3. It's like, okay, relax. Like, don't like. I just feel like people should just like mind their own business when it comes to that.
Yeah. I think especially with like your own parents and your in-laws intervening it where it gets tricky. I don't have any babies, but I have breasts. If I were to have a baby at this point, there's a good chance that I wouldn't necessarily breastfeed just because, again, mental health and, you are attached to that baby. So, and you're taking care of the house. You're the one that's at home. Like, I want to share the like feeding responsibilities, but that could change if I ever had a baby. I was not breastfed. My siblings were not breastfed. Not that my mom didn't try, but she didn't. And my nephews, my sister's kids were not breastfed. And, not to like provide any stats, but I'm a genius. So, there's breast isn't always best. I guess I could have been smarter, but to your point, it has to be what works for the mom. Also, there's cost, advantages to breastfeeding, right? Like I've had friends who are like, I breastfed because it was free.
Yes and no, though.
Ooh,
Because your breast milk supply goes up and down. So there might be days or weeks or months where it's lower and you need to get it back up. So there's lots of different things you can do. There's like supplements you can take, vitamins you can take, different foods, different drinks you can take. Also pumping all those things are expensive. Like the breast pump's expensive, bottles are expensive, sanitizer, blah, 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 blah. So like, yes, that adds up as well. So it's not just like, well, it could be completely free, but remember to consider those things as well. And yeah, formula is not cheap, especially,
It's not cheap at all.
Here in Canada, it's not cheap.
And there was, well, I don't know if there still is, but it's like, there's a shortage like in Asia and stuff. So a lot of people are like buying it here to like ship it. So like it's in demand. And even
There
in
is
the States,
still a shortage here.
yeah.
You like go to the aisles and there's like barely anything left. You can still maybe get one, but there's a sign like limit 2 per customer, everything like that. So that's crazy. And also breastfeeding in public, like people, we're in 2023, like she's feeding her baby. Get over yourself. She's not trying to sexualize anything. She's not trying to do anything. She's feeding her fucking baby.
Yeah, I don't care if she wants to feed her baby, and like that's that's the time to do it. I do think that people exploit it on social media though. Like there's only so many videos in my like explore for you page where I want to see this woman breastfeeding her kid, and like, okay, this is where I kind of draw the line though. Because you're overstepping the line of like normalizing it, because it's like you literally pulled out your breast, you're laying on your bed to feed the baby. Granted, the baby's hungry. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But filming it and posting it is where it's like, what different. What are you really trying to get out of this? And why do you keep showing up on my page? I'm not searching pregnancy or breasts.
Right. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of mothers feel very like not embarrassed, but it's awkward to breastfeed in public. There are few mothers that feel very comfortable and confident to breastfeed in public. So if you see a mom that's breastfeeding in public, I'm sure she's a little, she's trying to cover up and she's trying to, do what she can. And so just let her be.
Once you've had a baby, you lose that kind of shame, I think. And that's what they say is like, once people have seen all your stuff when you've given birth naturally, like the shame goes out the windows. Or like, I'm gonna whip it out and feed my baby. And it's habit too, right? You're not necessarily thinking. It's just robotic. Baby's hungry. Whoop, open that flap.
But people are perverts, so.
Yes, that's the whole thing. It's like you don't want to be looked at with lewd looks while you're trying to.
But it's like, it's funny though, because I catch myself saying this if I go out in public or if I go to someone's house or if I go wherever. I catch myself saying this constantly. I'm really into pumping these days. So I'll pump in the morning and I'll have some bottles for my son throughout the day.
Yeah.
When I'm tired of breastfeeding. So
did you buy your pump or rent it?
Buy it. I will literally tell people, which like, why do I care to tell these people, oh, this is just breast milk. It's like, like it's not formula. Like, like, why am I telling someone that? Because it's in a bottle and I'm scared they're going to judge me. That's the first thing I always say. Oh, sorry, can I put this in your fridge? Like it's breast milk that I pumped this morning, for the baby. It's like, why am I even saying anything? Why don't I just go put it in the fridge? Because there is something there. Stigma. And I don't want people to judge me. Yeah. Or I don't want to like have that. I don't know. But I'm still doing that to this day.
But also there has to be the check-in being like, this is breast milk. Is it okay if I put it in your fridge? As if somehow that's gross.
But it's like people that are like family. Like, I don't know. But I'm still like, or if someone comes over and I go get a bottle from the fridge, I know it's breast milk. And I even tell people. I don't have to tell anyone. I don't have to say anything, but I still say it. Yeah. Because I know they're judging me because I see the bottle.
Wild.
But since we're on the topic of kids, I feel like there's a lot of controversial topics and issues around kids. So another one that people kind of have disagreements on is whether or not you have an epidural or not during childbirth, whether or not you had like a natural birth versus a C-section. And again, I feel like it's a lot of mothers judging mothers, which like, come on, people, we should be supporting one another, empowering one another. We are superheroes. Come on. But
sometimes I feel like, sorry, I really don't have like any skin in this game, but I think if if a woman has never had a headache or an actual painful period cramp, they have no say in whether or not I decide to have an epidural or a natural childbirth, because you've never experienced significant pain, in my opinion. As a migraine sufferer, like they need to just like step back.
Yeah. But then you have those people that like ask you like, oh, did you have an epidural during your delivery or not? It's like, oh, yeah, I had an epidural.
Yeah.
Of course.
Baby got drugs. Baby got
high. Why would I put my body and myself through that? Oh, I did it naturally. It's like, cool. What do you want? Cool. What do you want me to say? Like, cool. Like, congratulations. Yeah. And then other people think that having a C-section is like the easy way out of childbirth.
It's not. It's a major surgery.
Exactly. There's no easy way out of childbirth.
No easy way.
Whether you have it like naturally or C-section, there's no easy way.
I experienced a C-section by proxy because I was in the OR with my sister when she had her last one.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's done differently everywhere, but then it's like my sister's hands are like out like she's on a cross because they have like the pumping of the epidural stuff and checking her vitals, and there's this big sheet. But in order to like get to the baby, you're cutting through all of that muscle, but then on top of it, it's like you have to pull out organs. So it's not like cutting muscle, popping a balloon, take the baby out. Like literally they're taking out all of your insides to then get into the uterus to then pull out the baby, and then packing that shit back in, and then having to somehow get all of those layers of muscles back together again and then staple you up.
Yeah.
And you can't walk straight for like days afterwards,
or like lift anything heavy, aka your
Yeah.
baby, which is super fun. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I just feel like people need to hush when it comes to that. Like, just back down. Just
you don't owe anybody explanations or anything. It's just like
No.
I had a friend who's like, I'm gonna do it natural, and I'm like, okay, you do
Yikes.
you,
Yeah.
because she had somebody. They say that you can get back problems from an epidural.
Yeah.
So she was afraid because somebody had been paralyzed or something afterwards. Okay, fine. But she was white knuckling her labor so badly that her lips were white that her mom was in the room with her and started crying and begging her to take the epidural because of
Oh my God.
how much she was seeing her daughter like be in pain.
No.
It's like,
Childbirth is painful enough. If honestly, that wasn't even the scary part, getting an epidural. That's not scary at all. It's scary when you're having a contraction and they're putting the needle in you at that moment, because you have to be you have to be very still, and I had that happen twice to me. But that's not the scary part at all. Another thing that's controversial in like the kids parenting realm is,
can I stop you before you get into like kids parenting? There's also, we've branched out to this being like another like pregnancy a pregnancy talk, but also like home birth now, even versus a hospital birth.
Ooh, good one. Yeah, totally.
Home birth with a doula via hospital with like a medical staff.
Totally.
It's not, and I don't think there's a judgment deciding on what you do. I think there's a judgment when you go home birth versus a hospital birth.
Yeah.
But it is becoming more commonplace.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not, maybe, yeah. I definitely know of more people that are going the more home birth route than the hospital route, which is fine. Like, at the end of the day, this is your experience. If that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But people are they stick their nose up and they're like, what are you saying? What are you doing? But it's like, you know what? It's not your experience. So
it's true. I mean, it's wild to watch somebody have their inflatable kiddie pool that they bought from like Home Depot and then in their bathroom or in their room just filled with water to give birth. But
yeah, valid. Like, I would never want to. I don't want to clean up that mess after or deal with that, or I want to be close to a hospital just in case, right? Like, no, thank you. But
the doula and the midwife and all that do that. They clean up after.
Oh, good. So. Thank God, because it is messy.
Right?
And also, there's some conversations versus like co-sleeping. Have you heard about like co-sleeping?
Yes, I've heard about it.
So I feel like people do it. They like sleep with their baby. At the end of the day, You do you. If that's what you want to do, that's fine, because, you know, your baby wakes up so freaking much, so I understand.
Especially if you're nursing.
Totally, absolutely. But, you know, it comes into the element of safe sleep. Like, is this a safest sleep for your baby? And if you've made that decision and you say yes, then that's fine. Then you do you.
Yeah. Well, they make that attachment, right, to the bed where the baby's kind of on its own, but you just can kind of like have that little pad that you just like pull over when you need to.
Yeah, I think some people have that. Yep.
Yeah. I grew up as a co-sleeper with my mom, so, and my nephews kind of grew up the same way. So, yeah, whatever works for you, and obviously safety is the number one priority, and your own sleep, of course. I slept in a bassinet beside my mom's bed as a kid, and my sister did the same. Like, they didn't have co-sleeping stuff then. It was literally a fucking wicker basket.
That's funny.
But then as you get older as a kid, you're like, yep, sleep with my mom.
Yeah, that's fine.
safe.
Like, whatever works, right? Whatever works for that, for your family. Who cares? Another one that I didn't really know about until I was like in it is baby-led weaning versus purees. So when your baby starts eating foods, when your parents were giving you foods when you were a baby, they probably did the puree route. When when you like mash up. Yeah, you mash up the carrots, you put it in a blender so it's like all like liquidy, right? And then you give it to the baby. But now they've come out with this new thing called baby-led weaning. So you might maybe steam the carrots, make them mushy, and then give it to the baby. So the baby like has to pick it up and like try to eat it like with their gums, because at that point they don't really have teeth or many teeth at that point. And that's
so we're talking like the 6-month mark?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's called baby-led weaning. And people online, they're just like, oh my God, your baby doesn't eat this. Oh, you puree all your food? Oh, it's just like, oh my God, people, just let the people do what they want to do. My goodness.
Well, also, I mean, it seems like there's judgment if people buy baby food and not make their own baby food.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Like, the list goes on. The last one I want to add in this, I guess, category.
Before you do, let me just add my commentary on it. Where the amount of times I see people like baby videos where the kid is eating something and I'm like basically clutching my pearls because I don't want this little baby to choke.
Yeah, and that's it's definitely a scary thing when you start foods and you go the baby-led weaning route. Absolutely.
As someone who had to give like the Heimlich to my nephew when he was choking when he was like 3 or 4, and how terrifying that is, I just can't. I can't look at that and be like, yeah, they have their own instincts in survival. And it's even like, I have another one. We'll get into it. Another one with about kids, but it's just like, I can't. It's just like, let it be mushy. Gum it down. I don't got to worry. I don't need to maintain my CPR rating, and just like
totally
keep the stress levels low.
So another one is leashes for toddlers.
Oh.
Krista is automatically judging you.
I've seen it. I've seen babies without leashes and seen babies on leashes. I've seen babies that should be on leashes and some that don't need to be.
Like they have like the backpack with like the leash.
Yeah, I understand it.
I understand it as well, 100%. But I'm trying not to judge you, but I'm kind of judging you with this one.
I think some people are not good at parents and they need leashes. I remember going to like the waterfront downtown with like my family. This was when years and years ago. I don't even remember if my sister had kids at that point, or if she did, she only had her first, who was really small. And we're just walking along the pier or something. And of course, clueless parents, it's always clueless parents, not looking. The little baby girl was running straight into the street. My sister had to grab this stranger's child, from running into oncoming traffic. Did that baby need a leash? Yes. Jeez. For the baby's safety.
Yeah.
Because the parents were fucking idiots. Jeez. How many times have I seen a dad walking around and the kids are way far behind? He don't care. He's like, no, they'll just follow me. It's like, no, bro.
Like, no.
Do you know that people like kidnap children? Do you know that children just spin around and then walk off a cliff easily? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think certain people should use leashes for the kids.
And potentially certain situations too. Like if you're in a really, 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 really busy place, like maybe potentially that might be an okay idea. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people judge if they see kids on leashes and their parents beside them.
Yeah. I mean, most kids probably don't even like the leash. So even the fact that the kid would stay in that leash is surprising to me.
That's valid. That's valid. Well, do you have anything else to add about kind of kids topics or anything?
So one that I think, I don't know if it's controversial, but every time I see it, I'm always, again, like gasping, is like baby swimming lessons. Like from like baby, like not like maybe 6 months old, where they teach them like drowning techniques, and they throw the baby in the water and watch if the baby turns over.
I see that on TikTok and I have to scroll instantly because I cannot watch it.
It's hard to watch, where it's like, I get it. I get why you're doing it. Like there's so many kids can fall into a pool or something and then drown. So you want them to like have the survival instinct. But watching you purposely drown the baby at first though, I just don't think that those instructors are like, I care about babies. I think that they're sadistic people because I couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't do it either. No way. No way.
And has nobody heard of secondary drowning? Like, the water in the lungs is a thing.
Yeah, no, that scares me too much. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So to me, that's controversial. When people are saying, yeah, I'm gonna put my newborn in the swimming lessons, I'd be like,
okay,
okay. You don't have a pool, but okay.
Yeah.
That was my last one. A little bit morbid, but it was important to bring up.
Yeah, for sure. Like at the end of the day, there are so many within like the kids realm, like vaccines. Are you pro-vaccine or not? Like there's just so many in there, right? So we're not gonna go on and on about it because there's lots more we want to touch on.